Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. I can talk. The Nerdrotic channel. You know, the one, how many videos have we done? Like 500. And I just fucked up on that one. It's because we're covering Iron Fist season 2. And I've had an aneurysm getting through this awful show. This is like, before we even get started, don't waste your time if you're halfway through it and you're considering, well, maybe I should finish it. Don't. It's the worst offering from Netflix by far, even worse than Jessica Jones season 2, even worse than Iron Fist season 1, which I kind of liked. Holy crap.
The ending everyone keeps talking about. Oh my God, you got to see it. It's really not that great.
That was, we'll get there. We'll get there. But before we start, let's break out the paddles. By the way, Dennis Withalka, San Diego, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How about you? I mean, other than your poltergeist light bulb there that you had going on.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off. I had a light bulb catch on fire right before we started. So it was a little smoky in here. But spoiler alert.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen the episode, good for you. If you haven't seen the series, because you really don't need to.
You saved 8 hours of your life. Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to spoil the shit out of it. You can watch it at your own peril, however you want to do it. But anyway, we're going to talk about it. So
a feisty fan says, I'm hearing mixed emotions on this. Nope. Pretty sure. Fister King.
Yeah, we're not going to go into the usual breakdown of this thing because honestly, it's really not worth it. I'll tell you the truth. Hey, Movie Fanobi. It's really not worth it breaking it down. So suffice to say, it's got a lot about PTSD, a lot about recovery, like alcoholism, NA as well, Narcotics Anonymous, and
which we'll get into.
Yeah, and then also about how fucked up family is sometimes, and abuse, basically what it is.
But what it doesn't have superheroes,
yes,
or costumes, or superhero fights, or even the title character being the main character in his own show.
Yeah,
which he is not. He is but a placeholder. So Danny Rand is a placeholder. That's what we got out of season 2.
Yeah.
And we'll get there. Yeah. Basically, we're not going to be breaking down the series scene by scene. I'm going to be breaking down my complaints, which are 3 pages long. 2.5 pages long, 3 pages. And by the end of it, my scribbling gets a little emotional. So what I've been trying to figure out what to call this series, because it's not Iron Fist. I was thinking Iron Miss. No. Iron Ward, maybe. Iron Ward, possibly. Iron Fisted.
Iron Lad.
That's what I feel like. No, it's Iron Feelings. I have settled on Iron Feelings. They have gone way beyond CW. Now, CW, of course, is talking about feelings in hallways, or superheroes talking about feelings in hallways. Netflix has gone way beyond that. They have gone to talking about feelings on city streets, in expensive apartments, in dojos, in cars. I'm really happy that we had Misty Knight give us a lecture on sugar rushes. I really feel educated that I got that all cops don't eat donuts. That's a stereotype, folks. And that's straight from Iron Fist season 2. So
she was talking about stakeouts on that one. I mean, I could see what it was. She was saying, yeah, you don't want to do the sugar rush on stakeouts because you're just going to end up falling asleep, or you want something that's going to be a slow burn that's going to, last a while. Yes, it was out of place, definitely. But they needed something to fill the time is what it was. So, she gave a little nutritional lecture there. Hi, kids, buy some Hostess fruit pies.
Yeah. Which was completely, that's all what this, and my point being is we didn't need it. It was filler. There is so much sitting down in rooms and talking in this show. It made my head hurt. If it's, like a Scorsese film, or Quentin Tarantino makes sitting around in rooms and talking entertaining, at least when he has a good editor. This was not it. This was really basic conversations, like you said, Misty Knight giving us a lecture on sugar rush. It made sense in the context of that scene, but what the fuck does that got to do with Iron Fist and superhero fighting? And that was like deep into the series. This wasn't the first episode. That was like episode 7 or 6. Yeah, it's bad. And this is almost a case study of where we're headed. We should not be this far into superhero films and television, and there being the fear of the costume because it's going to look silly. Well, if that's how you feel, then don't make the freaking show. Don't be a part of it. You have no place in telling a superhero story because it's about costumes. It's about men and women in tights. That's part of the allure of superheroes. It's part of the branding.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about damaged heroes, damaged psyches, all this kind of shit. There's enough of that out there. If you want to make a lifetime special on, you know, superheroes, go for it. Do something else. Not Iron Fist, not Batman, not Superman, not Spider-Man, nothing like that. Just leave those properties alone, make your own character, and you can do your own shit on your own time. You know, if you're going to do a Marvel character, a DC character, I want to see the character. I don't want to see, you know, a psychological case study or what the fuck you're dealing with at the time in your therapy sessions, and you decide to write it out, you know, in your script for this series, which is what it felt like. Honestly, it felt like someone was going through AA and decided to fucking write out all their shit onto, you know, paper and attribute it to these characters is really what it felt like.
And we're talking like somebody in their first 30 days who's doing 90 and 90 and just got a sponsor. We're not talking about somebody who knows anything about AA. Now, it could be argued that this is a case study why you don't 13th step and you don't you know, Ward is an AA and he has a female sponsor and they show them having sex. That's exactly why you don't have a female sponsor. Now you can have one, you know, if you're a gay man, because what you're trying to do is take the sexual feelings out, any possibility of it. It's kind of religious in that sense, is you have to be pure of that because you're working on yourself. And that's the person who is your sponsor sponsors you to help you, but it's mostly sponsorship is about helping yourself too. It's part of the program. So it got all of that wrong, or it showed the worst part about it. And that sponsor was deep in relapse. She should be doing 90 and 90. She should not be sponsoring anybody. You know, if you're sleeping with one of your sponsees, you do not sponsor people. You tell all your sponsees to go find another sponsor. I am currently in relapse. Maybe we can revisit it at another time. I can no longer. And then she shares in her home meeting their whole thing. You know, they shared a meeting together and she goes back to her home meeting and dumps about Ward in that meeting, which is so fucking inappropriate. Yeah. Like,
and announces that she's pregnant because of him too.
In the fucking meeting that he goes to, her home meeting that she's leading. Yeah, you recuse yourself from that, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah. It was just, I mean, I can't stress how shitty this season was. I mean, it was, I mean, literally I'm sitting there going, it's going to get better. It's not going to get better, is it?
No.
It's not getting better. It's not going to get better.
Let's see a little bit what the chat says. The second season of Iron Fist is trash, says Killmonger, the Rebel 1313. Killmonger, welcome, by the way, and said something very nice that more people should. I love Gary and Dennis' channel. I wish more people would subscribe. We do too, but we appreciate everybody who has, and the growth has been great. And Killmonger, the Rebel 1313, thank you for the nice words. I really appreciate that. And usually we're not here spitting flames at a TV show, but sometimes it calls for it. It really does. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
And I think it's going to be a twofer for me tonight. So just to warn you.
Mako says all cops don't eat donuts and all Hollywood executives don't butt chug.
That's true.
Say no to stereotypes. Mako, well said. Well said. Stereotypes are bad, okay?
Hello.
Okay, so Danny Rand is not the main character in his own show. He's a flipping idiot. And this isn't the first time we've seen this. We saw this a little bit in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Not as bad, but a little bit. And we definitely saw this in Solo. So I saw two similarities, both entertainment properties run by Disney that have come out in the same year. Now, I don't take in every form of entertainment, but this is definitely turning into almost a trope in superheroes and in sci-fi, and it's a bad one. It's not a good one. If you do it as a gag or something, but what we're seeing here is we're circumventing our main characters. Why? The question is why? Why do they feel the need to do this?
Because I'm just gonna cut to the chase here. So we
Knowing
find
the
out
answer to that question, by the way, but go on.
yeah, we find out at the very end that there's the big mystery box that literally the big mystery box that Colleen has, her family heirloom, is that the first Iron Fist was a woman, and that his destiny was to carry the Iron Fist to her. She was supposed to get it because she is the descendant of the first Iron Fist.
First female Iron Fist.
Yeah, first female Iron Fist.
The Pirate Queen.
The Pirate Queen, yeah.
So yeah. Colleen becomes the Iron Fist at the end. Danny loses his power in the fifth or sixth episode, and does not regain it until the very last scene.
Yeah.
So we go through half of season 2 with Danny just being a guy, just a guy saying he's Iron Fist. Not even that. He's Danny.
And he's back to being the Danny that is not at peace with himself in the very beginning. He's at conflict, even though he's showing that he is at peace outwardly. But we can tell, he's going out every night and he's stopping shit and he's angry all the time. And it's like, shit, didn't we just go over this? And this is what season 1 was supposed to be about. Was him getting over this. So why in the fuck are we rehashing this all over again? Oh, that's right. So that we can have everyone talk about their feelings and, how bad they were abused when they were children, and literally how bad they were abused when they were children, because they get beaten in Kunlun as children. Joy and Ward being beaten by their father, abused by their father. Ward more so than Joy, but Ward was protecting Joy supposedly. So it's like literally this is what all these episodes are all about, and I'm sitting here going, what the fuck?
Now think about Danny's journey, which we already had in season 1. So we've now had 2.5 seasons of Iron Fist. We'll count Defenders as like a half a season, and he was kind of Iron Fist in Defenders, but as with Jessica Jones season 2, Danny ends. If it wasn't for that tacked on ending, which I think it really feels like they added on.
They filmed at the end.
Yeah, they added it on because they probably didn't test very well.
That you could tell Ward was the guy who played Ward had a few extra pounds on him.
The character Ward was actually buffer than anybody in this show, and that's another thing we need to talk about. Noodle arm badasses. Okay, so that's a new. There you go. You can hashtag noodle arm badasses, because that's what Finn Jones and Jessica Henwick. Henwick is a Jessica Henwick, who's a good actress. I think she was one of the better parts in this, but her badassery is kind of lost on me due to complete lack of muscle tone on her body. I was reminded in the gym today, I saw a couple of women, working out the weights, look fucking strong. And I'm like, that, if you're a superhero, you got to look like you're working out. And I think this is getting lost on a lot of TV, that if you have superpowers, it's not just some magic force that's in you. It actually enhances your abilities. It buffs you up. Okay. It buffs you up for the most part. You got big old muscles and stuff. Remember when Tobey Maguire worked out for the first Spider-Man movie and how freaking yoked you look, and Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans, and even go back to Terminator 2. Okay, when I'm blanking on her name now, she worked
Sarah
out
Hamilton.
Sarah Hamilton worked out like crazy and looked just ripped. That's what, to prep for a role like this, that's what it takes, and that seems to be lost. You need to look your character. I have no problem with women badassery, but look the part, and men too. You can't have a bunch of noodle arm men. Like that's what Finn Jones was in the first season. He yoked up a little bit, but not much in this one. He looked better in Luke Cage, to be honest with you.
Linda Hamilton. Sorry, by the way.
Linda Hamilton. Yeah,
sorry. Her character was named Sarah. So that's, Linda. Yeah.
Sarah Connor.
So Cameron Hamilton asks, and it was kind of funny because that happens to be there. Thoughts on Typhoid Mary? Typhoid Mary wasn't in the movie or in the show.
No, Mary Walker. Yeah. So Mary Walker, who they introduced at Comic-Con as Typhoid Mary, was I don't even know if they list her in the credits as Typhoid Mary. It's Mary Walker.
Mhm.
She has a dissociative personality disorder.
DID, yes.
She has no superpowers. She's just, again, a badass. Now, she looked, I had a hard time buying her as a special forces officer who went off the chains, who could kill multiple people. Now, she looked pretty good with her machetes. I mean, that's pretty formidable. I'll give her that. But, and parts of it was played good and parts of it wasn't. So, but if they would have just given her power,
Yeah.
you know, and she does have a power, this is Iron Fist is clearly the most mystical thing in the Netflix universe, and they make a joke about it. They always talk about dragons in the cave and blah, 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 but they don't really show anything at all. But if I want to talk about the good in this was Davos, Ward, and the tattoo parlor fight with
the Crane sisters.
with the Crane sisters. That was a good fight. Well done. The fighting was better than it was in season 1. No problems with the martial arts. There just wasn't any. All the footage they showed us at Comic-Con was pretty much all the footage.
Yeah. And there's a beautifully shot fight between Davos and Danny in the sunroom in Kunlun.
Yes.
For the fight to go and get the Iron Fist. And it's honestly, it's like it's shot like a comic book. It's really nicely done. It's like, okay, well, whoever directed this episode knew what they were doing. And then after that, everything else went to hell. So you're just kind of like, fuck. All right.
Iron feelings. Feisty says, what the fuck am I watching? Let's get through some of the chat here, then we'll get back to, because I have another page and a half of complaints on this one.
Movie Fanobi says, Feisty, we were discussing today how Netflix is hiding the show, not on display, no email about it. You have to search it, and his face isn't on all the thumbnails. Crazy.
Yeah, I showed that in our Patreon hangout today. That now this hasn't happened to everybody, and it might be due to cookies, and it may be even how they can listen to your phone, and maybe my phone is hearing the fact that I hate this show. So every time every time I have gone to Netflix to go back and watch it, Ozark has come up, or Daredevil, or like not Iron Fist. It's nowhere to be seen on my page. Now, this depends on the person. So you might have fired it up, and there's usually there's a trailer for the newest thing.
Yeah.
That pops up, or some scene, and Ozark has come up for me.
Yeah, it popped up the first time for me when it was first released, because I think it was just automatic. When it was first released, it popped up, and then after that, it hasn't. There's been some really weird shit that's been popping up lately as the first thing. That stuff I'm not even interested in. So Mako says they went to the other opposite of sexism, making men stupid. I hope things will even out in the end.
That's my hope, and that was the answer to my question earlier, which it sucks. It sucks to even go there, but it is what it is, folks. This is a complete overcorrection for #MeToo, #Time's Up. That's what this is. Now, that doesn't mean, I don't mean to put down any the crap that had been going on in Hollywood for the last 100 years, and yes, 100 years. Does there need to be a correction? Fucking absolutely. Yeah, totally. You know what? And I've said it here before. It really, you know what? It's not our fault, the fans, that Hollywood for many, many years, when a woman hits 40, gets cast as an auntie or a mom or a teacher or a nurse, and that's it. That's it. They don't like put them in the or a damsel. I mean, like years of damsels. That's not what we are crying to come back. We don't need damsels. I love female badassery. Big fan of it.
And the thing that really pissed me off about this thing too is they tease us for like an episode and a half about Daughters of the Dragon. Where Misty keeps talking about, oh, well, maybe we should get together and you should do this full time kind of thing. She's talking to Colleen. I'm like, are they going to do it? And of course they don't fucking do it. They don't pull the trigger on it. And I'm like, if you guys are going to name an episode like in Luke Cage, season 2, Heroes for Hire, and then not pull the trigger on it, and then do the same fucking thing in Iron Fist season 2 and not pull the trigger on it for Daughters of the Dragon, then fuck you. I'm done with you at this point.
Well, that's what's happening. Is this is a big tease. Now we're seeing this with now I'm really worried about Daredevil season 3, because Daredevil and Punisher were the only shows that haven't done this. It's been a wait till next one, guys. The next one, man, we're gonna go. Okay, so they've set up now. They have dual fisting Danny.
Yeah.
We have Colleen. Davos could probably get his power back. Do you think they're going to have the money to do that, to go
Nope.
all spectacle on us for a third season? If we might possibly get a third season, but after 2020, it's done. There's no more Netflix on Marvel, or Marvel on Netflix. And yeah, I'm not even going to watch Iron Fist season 3. I have no desire to sit through that again and waste a freaking weekend or another hour on that. Even to interview it, it's I saw where this is going by episode 4 and 5, and I could not believe it. I thought, okay, Danny will get his powers by the end, and man, it's the end. It's the last,
the very end,
30 seconds.
And the thing that's really stupid too is so Colleen, when we see, because it's months later after she gets the Iron Fist, and she's stopping a robbery, and she pulls out her katana, and she's got the fist glowing, and it also lights up the sword.
It lights up the sword.
And
so
then
powers are better.
Yeah, and then we see Danny at the very end where he has guns on him. He's got 245s that he pulls out, and when his fists glow yellow, and the guns glow yellow as well, and he shoots.
And he can control his bullets.
He can control his bullets, yes.
And he shoots other bullets, and it's one of the worst shot scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And yeah, just okay. A list of the things that they do that Danny doesn't do. Danny spends most of the season apologizing,
being stupid,
then
real
apologizing
stupid
for it, being headstrong, and then losing his power, asking to be trained by a former hand member after he had trained his entire life in Kunlun.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, asking to be trained by his girlfriend, okay, who was a former hand member. Now she's supposedly badass and everything, but he doesn't require training from a hand member. He trained his entire life in Kunlun with Davos as his sparring partner. And then after he trains, he decides that he no longer needs his powers and offers it up to Colleen. When he asks Colleen to train him in humility, she says no. She says no, flat out. And so he has to, and then she walks out on him, gives him some speech, talks down to him, walks out on him, and then he trains on his own. Then she comes out and trains him in Kumite. She trains him in the Kumite.
Well, they go to a Kumite fight is what they do.
Yes. And oh my God. It's unbelievable. And then after that, he does some more apologizing and walking away, apologizing and walking away and questioning reality. It gets all postmodern on us.
He's not the only one that's doing the apologizing though, too. Ward is doing a lot of apologizing as well. And then he goes back and then goes, nope, you're all assholes. Nope, I'm sorry I said that. Nope, you're all assholes. Nope,
and there's so much of the scene with Ward and Mary when he's in Joy's apartment and he's telling her to get out and she's all, no. He's all, get out. No, you get out. No, you get out. Oh,
no, I'm not gonna get out. You get out. You get out. No, I'm not gonna get out.
Picture of his mom and goes, I need you to help me with these plans now. No, I'm not going to help you with these plans. Well, yes, you are. You're going to help me with these plans. Okay, I'll help you with these plans. Yeah. I'm like, did a 4-year-old write this shit?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's bad.
And then every time Mary comes in towards the end, it's like, I was in Sokovo. Sokovo. What the hell is it called again? Sokova. I can't even remember. It's freaking from Age of Ultron. Sokova Accords. And yeah, she was all back there. I was in the pit, but I got myself out and I killed everybody with my machetes. And I got PTSD now. And it's like,
yeah. So her big reveal is that she didn't know how she got out of the pit and who saved. She'd been there for 23 months and she knew that she was going to get killed. They killed her entire platoon in front of her, I guess, over months while pulling her out, beating her and raping her and all this stuff. So she knew about Mary, the other personality that she had that was kind of timid. And then, Walker, so her name's Mary Walker. So Mary was the timid one. Walker was the badass. And then she comes to the realization at the very end that there was a third personality that she doesn't know about. That was the one that saved her from the pit and killed everyone with the machetes.
And yeah, and the big reveal is it was her, which I kind of assumed from the first second I saw her and found out about this. It's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch a show about Iron Fist, not about Colleen Wing. That's the issue, and I will not watch as a result. Thanks for the heads up, James Hayes. That's it. It's a hoodwink. And Disney has been guilty of a lot of this lately. I would call the whole new Star Wars trilogy a big hoodwink, pulling the rug out from under us. If you want to make a Colleen Wing story, great. Make a Daughters of the Dragon story. I will be there to watch it. Bring in Misty Knight, do all kinds of mystical badassery, and we're in. We're in. Just have some goddamn superhero shit with
make it from the fucking comics.
Yeah, and can we have some bad guys, please? Every bad guy is now like, I was, my mother was mean to me, so I'm a bad guy.
I was touched by an elephant in the petting zoo at the local museum.
Yes.
And on my 8th birthday that my uncle didn't attend because he got killed in a car accident by Santas that were all put together in one car. So I have a fear of Santas and elephants touching me in weird places. So they must pay. That's why I dress up as an elf.
Anti-Santa.
I literally, that's what this shit is now. And James Hayes, I agree with you. This sounds like stealing a name property to make a comic book related show for people that are not comic book fans. It's exactly what's going on. Is they're attaching a comic book property name to a regular Lifetime run-of-the-mill story is what they're doing, and they're trying to foist it off as a comic book property, and it's not.
Marcus Kahn says, I again thank Gary and Dennis for saving the most valuable thing in my life, my time. Well said. Your time is very valuable. You do not get it back. I'm not getting that AT. I got PTSD from Iron Fist season 2. No, it's a bad joke. I'm sorry.
I think I did actually.
Yeah. But listen, it's your time is very valuable. That's part of the thing we do here. And once in a while it's good to shit all over us. But as the bigger picture, screw Iron Fist 2. This is what we're going to get. This is a portents of things to come. Watch out for Avengers 4. And I want to relate this to possible. Oh, the Mr. Pete channel needs 500 subs. Have you gotten 500 subs, by the way, Mr. Pete's channel?
I'm just 60 away.
I am just 60 away. Can I get a shout out? Mr. Pete's channel needs 500 subs, needs 60 to be 500 subs. And then he could be Mr. Pete's channel needs 1,000 subs. So go take a look at Mr. Pete's channel. There's your shout. Thank you for the $2, Mr. Pete's.
Thank you.
I say Mr. Pete's. Mr. Pete channel needs 500 subs. Thank you for the $2 super chat. There's your shout out.
Yeah.
We'll shout for money. We'll shout anything out. But if you need a shout out, just hit add Nerdrotic channel too. But super chats are always welcome. We do appreciate. So thank you very much. And I hope you get 500 subs today. So yeah, this is a portent of things to come. Avengers 4 just was announced. There's some reshoots, and I have a strong feeling that the ending did not test well. We are very late in the game. This is a movie that's coming out in May of next year. That is 7-8 months away. Wow. And they should really be done by now because it's effects heavy. It's not unheard of, but the testing is going on right now too. This is right around when the testing, and Mark Ruffalo, who they should never tell anything to, blurted it out, and it actually made Deadline last night. This could be nothing, but I want to just get it on record that although I've been saying this for about 2 years now, that I still think Captain Marvel is going to get the kill shot on Thanos. Calling it.
I'm thinking some of the reshoots are that Drax is not coming back.
That's another great point, Dennis. That was another one I completely forgot that I think they're killing off Drax. Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't think Drax is coming back, unfortunately. So
I don't. Yeah. I will go so far as to say as Drax is not coming back. He is done. Disney's been very quiet, and Batista. You know what? I gotta admire his loyalty to his friend. Yeah. That is to be absolutely admired. But I have to think that James Gunn is even telling him to shut the fuck up.
Probably. He's probably, dude, shut up, shut the
fuck up, bro.
And he's like, nope,
it doesn't help. Forget it. It actually doesn't help James Gunn either. If everybody's a good soldier, and James Gunn is never coming back to Disney ever. but Warner Brothers, maybe Sony. I think it's probably some studio that's like Paramount or something like that. But so the show seemed to be improving relative to the first Iron Fist season, but season 2 was still disappointing. Also, since Davos was deadly in hand to hand, why didn't they use guns? Jody, great point. There is a lot of convenient knife pulling.
Yeah, everyone pulls knives, and I'm just going. Well, we did see one person did use a gun, and that was Mary, and we could see he actually, was doing flips and stuff to get away from the bullets. Which I was just going, why don't you just run? You don't need to dive and
yes.
flip.
Yeah. There was no guns. Langley M. Neely. I'm wondering if Les Moonves resigning will mean better stewardship of Trek, but not with Kurtzman. Langley, for one, great to see you. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Always thinking about you, and it's great to see you. And I hope so. I certainly hope so. You know what? This can relate to Iron Fist because first, Silhouetted Animator, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Do you think they should tie in Legion into the MCU? Disney may for it to
maybe in for it to, or maybe in it to order it to make it past season 3.
I get what you're saying there, Silhouetted Animator, and yes, I would hope so. If Disney is fucking smart, they will work Legion in, and you can work Legion in. You can actually make that the linchpin from the Fox universe to the Disney universe.
Disney may force it to make it past season 3. There we go.
Yes, I hope so. And thank you for the $5 super chat, Silhouetted Animator. I forgot what I was saying before. Oh, Langley. Okay. So as this relates to leadership, now this shows you without a doubt how important Kevin Feige is. Kevin Feige is the most talented producer in Hollywood right now, maybe of all time. That's not hyperbole. For what he has done is nothing short of like, that'll never fucking be done again what this guy's pulled off. Jeff Loeb has been in charge of Marvel Television, and it's been, except
disastrous,
for Daredevil and Legion, an utter failure. I mean, there's far more bad than there is good.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any hand in Legion whatsoever, other than his name
only. And quite honestly, not much in Daredevil either. Daredevil season 1 had 2 extremely good creative giants involved in it. Season 2 was just as good, in my opinion. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of arguments about Elektra, but I can certainly see season 3 going. Elektra comes back and retrains Daredevil, and we find out that she's been blind the whole time, and then she's actually a better Daredevil. And then Daredevil quits, and he realizes that he can see, and then gets he double fisted. So
Mako says Fahey versus Arid. Now that would be a battle of giants, and it's going to happen because right now Sony. The whole thing that Sony's doing right now with the Spider-Man franchise with Venom, and now they're going to be doing a standalone Black Cat movie, a standalone Silver Sable movie, all that kind of shit. They're kind of trying to force Marvel's hand. That's all Arid, by the way. We thought it was Amy Pascal. It's not. It's actually Avery Arid who's doing this.
Well, I have a little more faith in him than her, but yeah, it's going to be a big problem because I'll state it again. And this was a surprise to me up until a couple months ago. Sony owns part of the character, not just the movie rights. They own a percentage of Spider-Man. So whoever made that deal probably doesn't work at Disney anymore.
I think it's Avery Arid who works over at Sony.
Well, that's genius producing. And as critical as we are of Amy Pascal, she is a freaking genius, because when she got fired for making basically racist remarks about our president, Obama, at the time in an email, which would have ended anybody forever, she put herself in charge of the Spider-Man property, which made her impossible to get rid of.
You know what she is? She's a survivor.
She's a survivor.
Just like what was that character who was telling Joy that? And the guy with the eye patch. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, the eye patch guy. Yeah, I'm a survivor. And Joy, can we talk about Joy real quick? Why was she here?
Yeah.
What was her purpose? She funded Davos, and she kept changing sides so many times I stopped caring.
Yeah.
And she ends up getting the shit kicked out of her. And where did she grow at all? I mean, Ward had an arc. Okay, that's why like character arcs are kind of important. They're a thing. I'm sorry, storytelling's a thing, and it seems to be lost. It seems to be lost.
So, yeah, Ward was the only character I actually liked in this entire series because he was going through some shit, granted, but at the same time, he was calling people out on their shit too. And just going, you know what, you need to, shut up and just kind of grow a pair. Is really what
We
he was
need more
doing.
character. Yeah, Ward was kind of an asshole, but we need more. Ward was there was some humor injected. I mean, the conversations between Colleen and Misty, I can't remember I remember the sugar thing, and that's it. That's all I remember. It's a lot of personal validation. There's a ton of that. Like, you're really awesome. You're good. I'm glad I'm with you. You're great. That is
Here's
every episode. That's another thing Danny does. He just validates other people. One of my favorite scenes is when Mrs. Who is the crime lord's wife? I can't
Yang,
remember her name. Yang.
Mrs. Yang, yeah.
Mrs. Yang talks about how all men are in fear and they're angry and they're headstrong
and impotent.
And stupid. Yeah. And no, there's a line she gives that all men are angry and headstrong and they're just afraid. And then right after that, it gets followed up with "Your men will die for you," and it's like, what? Oh God! It was. So Jody says, "Yeah, but the triads didn't use gun on this guy. Seriously, come on. He was just some dude with a glowing hand. Why didn't the triad just decide to rain bullets on Davos? Yeah, he's not bulletproof, Iron Fist." Now there is some parts of his power where he could, dodge him or nick him with his fist, but yeah, it's I don't know, Jody. Well, yes, it was in the script. It was in the script. Man, were we sold a bill of goods at Comic-Con. They really alluded to the fact that there's a costume, and I'm going to make a separate video on this, a recorded video on the costume thing, because it really is something that I will never get over, because it is part of your branding. The brand of a superhero is a costume. So when they change it fundamentally, and then their movie or TV show fails, and they wonder why, well, that's the main reason. I mean, there's bad writing and stuff, and there's also, I didn't see Iron Fist in this, or I didn't see, like Luke Cage doesn't have a costume. That's fine. Jessica Jones, not a costume, part of our whole thing. Fine. Mm-hmm. Iron Fist has a cool costume, not just a costume, a cool one.
He looks ridiculous, but it's a cool costume.
Yeah, it's part. You know what? It's part of honoring Kunlun. That design of costume goes back centuries. So it is part of respecting the Iron Fist. And all we got to see it is on a dead body, on a dead fucking body. Yeah. Now we saw Davos wore the mask it while using the Iron Fist. And that's what I'm going to have to, for the thumbnail on this, so people will be somewhat interested to show an Iron Fist, I'm going to have to put a picture up of Davos. Not of Danny. There was one earlier, but it's like really blurry and you can't. And they even shot Davos at like really dark. Like they're ashamed of it. Fly your superhero flag. Okay. Don't go into making a show if you're ashamed of this shit. If it's something you think is just silly, walk away. Find somebody who doesn't think it is. There's plenty of people out there who respect the canon, the source material, who can make a good story, and you can tell nobody involved in this really respects it. Makes me wonder about Jeff Loeb, like how much he doesn't like comics. I think he went into comics because he was failing as a producer, maybe.
Yeah,
and just used it as a stepping stone.
Jody says, "Oh, we saw a costume on a corpse. Was that a metaphor or what?"
Right. That should almost be the thumbnail.
Yeah. Really?
What's up, Crazy Carlos?
You know what this episode of the series actually gave me, though? Narcolepsy.
Iron narcolepsy.
Yeah, dude, I was seriously like nodding off. Like I had to force myself to stay awake on some things, especially when Colleen and Misty were talking in the car.
I kept on changing the title as my notes went on. That's why I came up with Iron Miss, Iron Feelings. I think the last one was Postmodern Fist. Yeah, it was or Iron Joy. Yeah, the whole so this ended up being an origin of Colleen Wing. This whole 2.5 series of Danny Rand it's the Colleen Wing story. which you could have done. You could have done. It's called Daughters of the Dragon.
And also, so the community center at the very end there, you know, where Davos comes in, he's going to kill everybody in the community center. No one was in an uproar. No one was like screaming, crying, anything like that. None of the extras, you know, in the background, you didn't hear any commotion. They're like, okay, this guy just said he's going to kill us all. Okay, that sounds good.
Extras look surprised.
Yeah. And when they're hustling through the hallway, okay, people were moving and we're walking and we're okay, and we're stopping.
Yeah. Oh, and the fighting in the background when Joy and Davis are talking and the kids are just doing little slap fights. Kudos on not actually cursing profusely in your review, even though you warned us you might. Great restraint. Thank you, Penn Farm Girl.
You obviously didn't see the beginning of it, all right?
Yeah, I also was dropping some F-bombs before we started. But they're well-deserved F-bombs. Okay,
they were. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What we had to sit through. Yeah, that.
Okay, another thing. Danny apologized to a crime lord for messing up a parlay. A superhero.
Yeah.
Apologized to a crime, the female crime lord, of course, because she had to take over. By the end of the show, and Misty, what did they do with her power? They had her dig a hole in a wall with her arm.
Yeah.
That was like the one time she used it. The Iron Fist only glowed between episode 6 and 9. It glowed 3 times.
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe 4 times. It should be okay. Iron Fist should be broken out. It's like a hit song. You got to hit your hook. You know, you should be breaking out the Iron Fist every episode. Yep. About 3/4 of the way in every Hulk show. Every I
was just about to bring that up.
Yep, he turns into the Hulk at about the 45 minute, the beginning and the 45-minute mark. You need to do that. Yep. Take it easy, Mr. Pete's channel. Mr. Pete, well, gotta go. Must check out other channels. Mary Ashmead, bye, my friend. Get well. Bye for now. Penn Farm Girl, thanks. Bye. Take it easy, Mr. Pete. Needs 500 subs. Go, yeah. Do what you got to do, man. And thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it. Oh, crazy Carlos, my loco
vacation,
my loco amigo. What is up? Typhoid Mary is promising, but they never even dared to make that happen. Also, they had a great opportunity to do a team up with Luke Cage and nothing. Right?
Yeah.
When Danny was wondering what to do, it's like, a really big bulletproof guy, like a few blocks away. Okay, maybe like 20 blocks away, but 20 blocks away.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, it wasn't Typhoid Mary, it was Mary Walker.
Yeah, no, but we know. Yeah, it's crazy, Carlos. Thank you for the 1999 super chat. I really, that character did have the best potential. Especially if they bring in her power, that would be, and we could have her cross over into Daredevil, which would be great because her power, she really nullifies Daredevil with her power. Without it, Daredevil like clean. I mean, she doesn't stand a chance.
And she changes her scent too. That's the whole thing. When she becomes a completely different person, her pheromones change. Everything about her changes. Wolverine has said this. Daredevil has said this. That who she is changes down to the molecule pretty much, and they don't recognize her.
Typhoid Mary has been retconned a few times, but she seriously is one of the best villains in the Marvel universe. And I'm not kidding. That's completely not underused. They need to bring, I mean, she's been in some really good stories of most recently, some Daredevil stuff and the Bendis Daredevil stuff. But they alluded to it with her one fight with Iron Fist when she chloroformed him. Okay. But that's she's got telekinetic powers in the comics. So.
Oh, and by the way, did you catch the 616 reference in this?
I did. That was the one good thing. When they call in a 616, it is a person with abilities. I'm like, okay, well done on that one. Well done. I like that. I mean, there's some good stuff, but
very few and far between.
Very few and far between, not worth your time at all whatsoever. It gets the anti-nerdrotic, the anti-seal of approval, the seal of disapproval, the seal of disapproval. You are unapproved. Looking forward to sorry. Hi, Slurpy Scott. How's it going? 1999. That's awesome.
Yeah. And Feisty, I know you said you're going to play some World of Warcraft instead of watching Iron Fist. Go and play some Spider-Man. It's a lot better. It's really cool. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes. So we are going to be getting a brief review next week from Nerdotic Jr., who was supposed to play it this weekend, but he got busted. So he has no screen time this weekend. So next weekend, when he hopefully has screen time and finishes all his homework, we will get it'll be audio, but we'll bring in Nerdotic Jr. on the channel, and he will give a little review of Spider-Man 4. Oh, Feisty.
Killmonger, I don't know if that was really an Easter egg of the guy. He didn't have Wolverine claws. He just had some blades on his hands. It's an Asian martial arts weapon that he had in his hands, and they do look like Wolverine claws, but they're short and stubby. So it wasn't
you can
really
buy those in Chinatown.
Yeah.
You could buy bladed like Batman throwing stars in Chinatown. Those are awesome, dude, and they're sharp.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I've got a couple.
Yeah, movie for Nebby. I am definitely looking forward to Into the Spider-Verse.
So with Jack Ryan, I saw Langley say, I love Jack Ryan. I did not finish it. So the review is going to be Mrs. Nerdrotic and Dennis. I started watching it again, especially maybe just because I was comparing it to Iron Fist season 2. I'm like, this is better. So I'm only a few episodes in. I'm not going to be able to finish by tonight. So you will have, I will be producing tonight's episode. I'll be in the chat, but tonight is Dennis and Mrs. Nerdrotic. Course, one of the stipulations is I have to cook her dinner before we start. So,
well, shit, you better get cracking,
dude. My cooking. Well, my cooking is heating and arranging. Okay, I am not a cook. I know how to open a bag and heat something up.
I like dinner for 4.
Yes. I can draw a picture of food though. Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think, did I miss any of the things? Okay, so Joy gets involved in all these ridiculous things. She funds Davos, and then they just let her go. Misty Knight who's a cop, lets Joy go, who is an accessory to multiple murders. I'm talking maybe 100 people, because Davos goes around as the Iron Fist, and and he decides he's going to, I'm going to purge this. He gets civic pride because, all superheroes have great civic pride, and he's going to purge the city of all of the bad guys. So he starts killing everybody. He's going to train some kids, and she's helping him. She helped him defeat Danny. She is a accessory to murder, and they just let her go. And Ward, there's a lot of, and even Danny wants to forgive Davos. It's like, dude, okay, I know he's your friend, but there's the little thing called justice. Okay. It's a big deal in comic books. Well, it used to be anyway. And we've seen now with Jessica Jones season 2, we don't have these real bad guys. We have these, people who are broken. We have people who are, have horrible childhoods, acting out and doing bad things. And then they get forgiven. They go to jail, but I mean, maybe not forever. Some of them actually get freed, and we're not thinking about the hundreds of people they killed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little postmodern for me. We can't have just a bad guy or a bad girl. When I say bad guy, I mean that as any sex or make or whatever. We can't just have a villain. Why did Jessica Jones season 1 work so well?
Because of the villain. Well, as we've said time and time again, you're only as good as your villain and your writing. So if you don't have, and Davos was a good villain, but he didn't have any proper motivation.
No,
he was just a muhaha kind of. Yes.
That whole thing where Joy came up to him in episode 8, by the way, and said, hey, we need to reframe your image in the city and make people like you. That should have been done in episode 3. They should have had a couple episodes of him being built up as a hero. Now, I know they kind of did that with other, but fine, it works. And have him, like they did with Kingpin. I would just, pretty much rip off what they did with Daredevil season 1 and make him a hero and make it harder. And then, but that would only work if Danny would have come back and fought him. And Danny doesn't fight him at the end. It's Colleen. Danny fights Mary. And Mary's hired by Joy to protect her from Davos. So Danny's protecting Davos from Mary while Colleen is fighting him.
Well, I mean, it does make sense because if she wants to kill Davos, and if she kills Davos, she also kills Colleen, because right now they're in the midst of transferring the transference of the supernatural force from one person to the other, and they were kind of interruptus.
Yes,
there.
because you can just transfer an Iron Fist like a transaction in fucking ATM. No, you can't. Well, I mean, there's a little bit to it. Well, I mean, yeah, the tattooist, the daughters of the Crane or whatever, which they didn't have. There's no buildup whatsoever. Who the fuck are they? Just show up.
Yeah.
The Crane sisters. They just show up, and like.
Yeah, the Crane sisters, by the way, don't have the knowledge. This was all Davos who had the knowledge, who gave it to the Crane sisters, say, here, this is what I want you to do. They just had the tools. And they didn't even have all the tools. They didn't have the bowl that he needed. And I mean, it was very MacGuffin-y.
Yeah, so the Iron Fist is something that you're trained for hundreds of passed down through thousands of years and generations and stuff. But then these tattoo artist girls in New York can just figure shit out. And, and even Davos, how the fuck does Davos figure this stuff out?
Yeah.
Like it's, there's masters in Kunlun, and Kunlun is gone. It's gone. So, and the reason it's gone is because they couldn't afford it. Not because it's really, truly part of the story. They ended season 1 with Kunlun being gone. Yeah. Now, supposedly they dealt with that a little bit in the Defenders, but it's still gone. So is it just gone? Because they really alluded to the fact that they're going to deal with that.
Well, and then also they haven't mentioned the other. I mean, there's 7 mystical cities.
Yeah.
That are out there. So it's not just Kunlun. There's other cities that are out there as well. That's where Madame Gao is from. She's from another city.
Yeah, and that's where it would have been better if Davos had found a way into another city and trained to be their Iron Fist version of Iron Fist or something. That would have been a little better.
Became the Steel Serpent. Yeah, from them. Yes, exactly.
Okay, and I did like the part of you found the body of the old Iron Fist and you ripped his tattoo off, but I mean it was just so throwaway.
Yeah.
Civic pride.
Yes. Yeah, you could have had Madame Gao coming back. She wants revenge on what Danny did to destroy the hand. So, and we know that Davos wants the Iron Fist, so she makes him the offer to do the Steel Serpent thing to get the Steel Fist, and in response for that, he's going to destroy Danny. That's your plot right there for season 2. Why couldn't you fucking go for that? No, instead we have feelings in hallways, and PTSD, and AA, and it's just bullshit.
Time's up. Straight up, time's up. Hashtag time's up. It's a big time's up moment. They used a property for that, and they didn't need to. I mean, keep the same damn cast, but give them something to talk about. Give them something to do. Just not inane conversations. It was, I like to use somebody else's term, blandly competent. And it was barely that. It was just conversations to have conversations to get us to the next scene. There wasn't any thought of how the dialogue will be engaging. Dialogue can be incredibly engaging. There's entire movies of just dialogue that you just sit there like this and eat the popcorn and can't wait for the next word. This was not it.
No. Rural Brain,
not my dinner with Andre.
I'm going to disagree with you that he says I'm more sympathetic to Davos than Danny, who just whines. Danny cheated with the sun in that fight. That wasn't cool. He didn't cheat, and Davos actually says this, that he has read Sun Tzu, Machiavelli, all these different. Basically, what Danny did was he used what was around him to his advantage. It was not cheating. The sun was right behind him. He saw it and said, okay, I can blind him, use that to my advantage, and take advantage of that. That is actually perfectly fine in a fight like that.
It is, but I would have rather have seen him just straight up beat him. I want Dan, because we've always felt like from the beginning that Danny doesn't deserve it. And by the end of season 2, he doesn't. He does not deserve the Iron Fist. Danny Rand should stop being the Iron Fist. And, Colleen, who is an entire another character in the Marvel universe, is not an Iron Fist. He doesn't deserve it.
The other thing that really pisses me off is that they basically said that the having the Iron Fist is an addiction. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, that was one of my big, what the fuck moments. And I completely obliterated it from my mind until just now. And I was like, so you're basically saying that the Iron Fist is an addiction. It's not a tool that you're supposed to use for defense because people, I just got, I just got to the point. I'm like, yeah, fuck you. You're done.
Yeah, it was and at Ward asking for forgiveness. I was just like, my last point is Ward asking for forgiveness from Joy at the end. After Joy had set up all this shit and Ward is asking for forgiveness.
And she pushed his hand away again. Kind of
She
thing.
did. And like Joy was not a joy in this at all.
No.
And BB died.
Yeah. But BB had to die. Beady.
Also, if I was Davos after getting the Iron Fist, I would have destroyed the bowl, not kept it with me.
Yeah.
There's no way for Danny to take his power from me. Good point. Why did you keep the damn bowl? Are you eating fucking cereal out of it? I mean, the other issue is this season went nowhere fast.
Yeah. It's just a shit show all the way around, honestly.
Here's my thought. Why didn't they just make season 2 about a tournament between the 7 cities?
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat style. That would have been better than this, but it would have cost money. And it's clear that Netflix doesn't have money anymore for this. It's clear that they're not putting stuff into it. And
they're not spending money on Marvel properties anymore. No, because Marvel's gone after next year. So they're just like, yeah, we don't, here's $5. There you go. Make what you can out of it. I can make a crane. I can make a pterodactyl.
Yeah, Mako. Let's talk about Davros, not Davos. PTSD in hallways. Thank you, Viking bitch. Yes. Yeah. Oh, do you have PTSD? I have PTSD. Oh, awesome. Every time I see a ceiling fan, I think of helicopters and Nam.
Well, when Joy got pushed off the ledge, which you totally see coming, yeah, she should have died right then and there.
Yeah.
That just, but no, we had to have Ward come back and try again to make amends. And yeah, that you could probably hear my eyes roll up into the back of my head on that one.
Langley says, I have a feeling they're going for the tournament and Orson in season 3. They totally should have done that in season 2. And here's where why I wish that would happen. It won't, because they just wasted an amazing amount of time this season.
Yeah.
Like they cut the episode count down to 10, and this one could have been 4 episodes. And I'm not kidding.
It could have been 2, honestly. They could have made this into a fucking 90-minute movie and it would have been perfectly fine.
I'm wondering if that's what we get. I bet you the season 3s will be like maybe 8 episodes. Maybe even like movies.
God. Yeah, no. Avoid it if you can. Nothing to see here.
Just because season 1 of Jessica Jones was good because the showrunner got to work on it for years before it got picked up. Season 2 was hastily put together between seasons. Classic sophomoric slump. Yeah, and that you're right, Langley. That happens so much. God, Westworld's a great example of that. But you are right. And they also had a lot of great source material to lean on and work on it and adapt. And they didn't adapt the next chapter of that story. They went way into left field when they could have just, and you know what? You have other superheroes you could bring in the Netflix universe that you can replace the superheroes you would have needed for season 2. And you didn't do the goddamn Luke Cage, Jessica Jones relationship, which is really an important part of her story.
But we went with the, my mom's really a bad guy, but she's really looking out for my best interest by killing all my ex-boyfriends.
Yeah. And that was
silly.
And the thing is, and the whole time I didn't care about the mom. Like if you made it a sympathetic character, but she just was crazy.
Yeah.
Not sympathetic.
yeah.
Like you feel sympathy for Davos in this. You do. Like you see the scene with his mom, right?
I didn't because again, this goes back to both Danny and Davos being both they're children that are arrested in their development is really what they are.
Yeah, but I mean they are because Danny is a victim of circumstances,
Yeah.
and Davos was treated horribly by his mother, who towards the end regretted and I didn't get, is she dead because
Yeah.
Kunlun is gone? Is everybody in Kunlun dead?
Well,
Is
we don't
Kunlun
know.
destroyed? So he's referring to her as her being, well, gone. I assume dead. She might be just gone. And it would have been an interesting there's a lost opportunity there with a good redemption arc with Davos. There really was. His acting was much better than most people's in this show. So Sasha, I forgot his full name, is a good actor, and I would see him in other stuff. And honestly, I would have preferred him as Iron Fist at this point.
That's kind of weird. I don't know where he is on the IMDb list because it's really long and not.
IMDb has been kind of weird.
Oh, there we go. Sasha Dhawan.
I don't care, but Jessica Henwick is my future ex-wife. She did a good job acting in it. I have no problem with her actual acting. I wish she would have, kind of yoked up a little bit for the part.
Up a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, I know there's the whole we're trying to flip the script, and she looks like this cute little girl who's badass, and that's kind of what Colleen Wing is, and it is. But you still have to have some muscle tone, like work out. She did no physical training for this part whatsoever. She did some fight training, but no like working out. And she's not the only one guilty of this. A lot of actors are starting to do this. They're getting a little lazy with their superhero storytelling. And this is why you have the law of diminishing returns. The law of diminishing returns just doesn't happen out of nowhere. It happens because as things go on and you get successful, you start cutting corners. And, and then eventually there's no more corners to cut because your property's gone because people just don't care anymore. And that's what's going to happen with Netflix television shows. People are just going to absolutely stop caring. They're not going to get mad. I can't see many people finishing this.
Yeah, we just had one person that did finish it. I just lost his name there for a second there. And who was it? Dharma Ocean said just finished the second season of Iron Fist, got some brain damage from that.
Yeah. It's I think a lot like what was referred to earlier is they're making stuff for normies. Normies are coming into our hobby. And yes, you have to accommodate normies. Normies pay for everything, and that's fine. But the thing about normies is it's not like they don't like the pure superhero storytelling in the comics, is they don't seek it out. So it's up to us to bring it to them. But you don't have to change it for them. They're going to like it the same reason we like it. It's just something they don't seek out. It's not something we have to adapt because their tastes are different. It's because they don't look for it.
Yeah. And you don't need to change it to make it like, Survivor or, Big Brother or some other dumbed down TV show. You don't need to do that.
No, it's special for a reason. It's lasted this long for a reason because it is good storytelling and it's tested. It's lasted this long. It's standed the test of time because it's good storytelling and you don't have to dumb it down. Normies aren't dumb. Again, it's just something they don't look for in their normal day in life. And we've all had a friend go, man, if you check this thing out, some obscure thing, and you read it and go, oh my God, mind blown. That's what nerds are for. And that was like that's the entire job of a comic shop. Or if you work in a bookstore, if you work in a comic store, or even if you work at a record store, you're matching the person with their story or their song. You profile, you get talk to somebody a little bit, you get to know their personality. It's like, oh, you probably like this. And you can get that, like Feisty knows this. You can get that within 2 sentences. Within 2 sentences, I would know what kind of comic book somebody would want to read. And you get good at that stuff by talking to people individually. And that is something, Holly, that's free advice for you, Hollywood, if you're listening, which you're not. and you could save a lot of money on the marketing research in Hollywood has gotten so bad. The trend scouting has gotten so bad. They are so off the mark on so much stuff, and I have never seen it this bad in my 40 years of observing pop culture.
That's because they're scrambling right now for their jobs. Everything's colliding together, and they're afraid.
Oh yeah, Netflix just got some big VP from one of the big media companies. And Les Moonves is gone. That is a powerful man. That is a very powerful man. He is gone, and there's going to be a vacuum for that. And it looks like, but it looks like, according to Tom at Midnight's Edge and Rob, it's going to be replaced by just Les Moonves Light.
Yep,
which is Fanobi is a good pimp.
Yeah, definitely.
There's Mecca. Hi, Mecca. She's all, good riddance, Les Moonves. As I tweeted, don't let the door pinch you in the ass on the way out. Using Dennis's line a little bit.
So since we're at the end of the chat here.
Oh, thank you, Pen Farm Girl. Yeah, definitely. I got to remember to do that too. Go on, Dennis. I'm sorry. Why don't you thank the chat? And I'm gonna have video. It's out of date. We've gotten like 4 new patrons, which we will thank the next video, which will be the Jack Ryan one, and I'll fix it by then. But you start thinking in chat.
So thank you, Jody, Pen Farm Girl, Mecha Random 42, Dharma Ocean, Slurmy Scott, Feisty Fan, Mary Ashmead, I said Movie Fanobi already. Viking Bitch, Langley Neely, good to see you, man. Crazy Carlos, good to see you as well. Welcome back from vacation. Lloyd, just simply Lloyd. Silhouetted Animator. Killmonger the Rebel 313. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words too. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Michael DeBradley, Pickle. It's always good to see Pickle in here. And who else do we have in here? I saw a few other. I know we have like 58 people floating around in here. Candace Williams. Excuse me. And RoboBrain 10,000. Haven't seen you in a while. Been floating around, maybe lurking in the background, most likely. I know a lot of people lurk on her site, so that's fine. And that's about as far as I can go. So anybody else that I didn't get to in the chat, thank you for showing up. And Gary,
Langley, it's great to see you come back too. Missed you, man. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And I just want to say that, like, it's such a shame. By the way, the stuff you're seeing on the video, here's the stuff you get if you join our Patreon. This is the $5 level. This is the $15 level. And you get stuff, patreon.com/nerdrotic. Check it out. So Netflix still possesses my favorite thing by Marvel, period, which is Daredevil season 1. Daredevil season 1 is perfect. And I pointed this out in our hangout earlier. It has the fighting scene in a hallway, which should always be the talking about feelings in hallways. And then we could just do the Daredevil scene. And Fanobi pointed out that there's a good one. That's one of the better scenes on the Defenders as well. So
it's also the Punisher.
I'm just talking. There's Daredevil season 1, Jessica Jones season 1, the Punisher season 1, and parts of Luke Cage are great. Are absolutely great. The bad is, Iron Fist has been generally bad. Defenders was amazingly bad, which even had Daredevil in it. But what was the big thing with Defenders? It had a shitty villain. It had a terrible villain. I'm sorry. I love Sigourney Weaver.
It was a faux villain.
It was just a weird choice to have a super team get together to fight
a septuagenarian.
It was just weird. I mean, like, give her powers or make her mystical or something like that. Give her something like Doctor Strange powers or something like that. But no, she just went to dinner parties.
Yeah.
And then they showed her doing some martial arts later. But I mean, that was just weird. You bring the Defenders together to fight, like, well, not a giant energy beam shooting up in the air, but you fight at the Hand or something, like, and then Sigourney Weaver was the head of the Hand.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No. Oh, great. I just got a notification. Secure Team 10 has a new video. UFOs.
See you, Pickle. See you over in the Jack Ryan.
What'd you say about the skeleton in my room?
I said the skeleton in his room that's sitting behind him is the last person that had to sit there and listen to him talk about aliens.
Oh yeah. All right there. That's the newest member to the office, by the way. They actually sat here to guest on the podcast, and I forgot about them, and they're just there now.
And then he started talking about aliens, and it went on
I'm
way
not
too
gonna
long.
say it was aliens,
But it's aliens.
All right. So Iron Fist season 2 totally sucked in every way. It was suck perfection. Absolutely hit it out of the park on suckage. It was a singularity sucking all the good out of the universe. It is so fucking bad. Do not waste your time with this show. And it is a case study on what is wrong with 2018 superhero storytelling and science fiction storytelling. A lot of bullshit is being injected. It needs to stop, and we need to start telling good stories. What are good stories? Counterpart. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Not affected
Mr.
by
Robot.
Mr. Robot. It's just good story. Taboo.
Yeah.
Good storytelling. Expanse. Good fucking storytelling. It doesn't worry about any of the shit. It just tells a good story, and everything else kind of falls into place.
Yeah. My rating for Iron Fist season 2 here is I rated the finger. That's all I'm gonna say.
I got fisted.
Yeah.
I was fisted by Iron Fist. Thank you all for showing up. You guys,
Thank you.
You are beautiful nerds. You are wonderful, beautiful nerds for letting us rant. It was very cathartic. I feel so much better now. And we will be back. If you're watching us live, we will be back for a Jack Ryan review with Mrs. Nerdrotic and Dennis. If you're watching it as a video, go check it out. Go check it out. So Dennis, take us out, man.
Children of Earth, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find yourself talking about PSTD and addiction in hallways with people you really don't want to talk to about.
May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao.